Have you ever woken up one day and realized you don't feel like talking to anyone? Your friends text you, you see the messages, but you don't feel like replying. Someone invites you out. Normally, you would go, but this time, you just want to stay home. And the strange part, you may not even know why. You haven't suddenly started hating people, you just don't feel interested anymore. So what actually happens inside the mind when someone suddenly loses interest in everyone? Here's the psychology behind it. Number one, they may be emotionally exhausted. Sometimes you don't lose interest in people. You lose the energy required to interact with them. Every conversation takes effort. Every reply requires attention. Every social situation requires you to be on. And when your emotional battery is already empty, even people you genuinely care about can start feeling exhausting. You might read a message from your best friend and think, I'll reply later. Then later becomes tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next week. It doesn't necessarily mean you stopped caring. Sometimes you simply ran out of emotional energy. Number two, they may have been giving too much of themselves. Some people spend a lot of time listening to other people's problems. They give advice, they solve conflicts, they support friends. They constantly make themselves available. But eventually, something happens. They realize they've been giving without receiving much in return. And the mind starts protecting itself. They become quieter. They stop initiating conversations. They stop explaining themselves. They stop chasing people. From the outside, it looks like they suddenly changed. But internally, they may simply be thinking, I need some space for myself. Number three, they may have outgrown their social environment. This one can be uncomfortable. Sometimes you don't lose interest in people because something is wrong with you. You lose interest because your priorities have changed. The conversations that used to excite you no longer do. The things you used to care about feel less important. You start wanting deeper conversations, more meaningful relationships, more peace. And suddenly, certain social situations feel repetitive. The people haven't necessarily changed. You have. And growth can sometimes feel like loneliness before it feels like freedom. Number four, they may be protecting themselves after disappointment. Imagine constantly being there for someone and realizing they wouldn't do the same for you, or trusting someone and discovering they weren't who you thought they were. After enough disappointments, your brain can become more cautious. You stop getting attached so quickly. You stop expecting people to stay. You stop chasing connections that feel one-sided. And eventually, you may convince yourself, I'm better off alone. Sometimes that is genuine independence, but sometimes it's protection disguised as independence. Number five, they may simply be craving solitude. Being alone isn't automatically loneliness. There's a huge difference. Loneliness is wanting connection, but feeling like you don't have it. Solitude is having connection available, but choosing to spend time with yourself. Some people genuinely recharge through quiet environments. No notifications, no conversations, no expectations, just themselves. They might spend an evening watching something, listening to music, walking, thinking, or doing absolutely nothing. And for them, that silence isn't empty, it's restorative. Number six, they may be experiencing a temporary loss of motivation. Sometimes losing interest in people happens alongside losing interest in everything else. Your hobbies feel boring. Your messages feel exhausting. Your goals feel distant. Even things you normally enjoy don't feel exciting. When this happens, it's worth paying attention to the bigger picture rather than assuming you've simply become antisocial. Because sometimes the issue isn't other people. It's that your overall mental energy has changed. And that deserves understanding, not self-judgment. Number seven, they may have stopped chasing validation. There's a stage in life where you care deeply about being included. You want everyone to like you. You want invitations. You want replies. You want people to notice you. But eventually, some people reach a different mindset. They realize, I don't need to be everywhere. I don't need everyone to like me. I don't need to prove that I'm interesting. That can look like losing interest in people, but sometimes it's actually emotional independence. You stop chasing attention. You stop forcing conversations. You stop staying in places where you don't feel comfortable, and you become much more selective about where your energy goes. So if you've suddenly lost interest in everyone, don't immediately assume something is wrong with you. Ask yourself a few questions. Am I emotionally exhausted? Have I been giving too much? Did someone disappoint me? Have my priorities changed? Am I genuinely enjoying solitude, or am I avoiding connection? And most importantly, have I lost interest only in people or in almost everything? Because there's a difference between needing space and completely withdrawing from life. Sometimes your mind is simply asking for rest. Sometimes you're growing. Sometimes you're protecting yourself. And sometimes you need to reconnect with yourself before you can genuinely connect with anyone else. So don't feel guilty for needing distance. You're allowed to step back. You're allowed to become quieter. You're allowed to choose your own company. Just remember, there's a difference between choosing solitude and building a wall so high that nobody can reach you. The goal isn't to need everyone, and it isn't to need nobody. The goal is to know who deserves your energy and when your own mind needs some of it back. If this felt strangely relatable, you're probably not the only one. This is PsyLogic PsyLogic Lane, where everyday human behavior starts making a little more sense.